What's up, it's the Fragrance Apprentice. FragsToRitches is a good friend of mine. We speak quite a lot on Instagram, voice messages. He's a good dude and got a great fragrance YouTube channel. Check him out. He did a tag video. I think that tag videos are very hard to do. I think they're very difficult to do. I think I once tried to successfully start one and it didn't really go anywhere. So I feel the empathy for the dude, and I want to help him out. And if I'm honest, it was quite an interesting tag because it's unique in the way of you get to have a trip down memory lane. It might fill in some context for you, might fill in some ideas about where my taste comes from, where my thoughts are, and all of that good stuff. So the tag is my first fragrance, and it's my first fragrance that I bought with my own money. So this is not Christmas gifts, this isn't birthday gifts, this isn't somebody, your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, your friend giving you a fragrance. It is something that you bought with your own money through your own choice. And so I thought that was kind of unique, kind of interesting. So let me begin. So I first got into this, I think really when I was about 19, and it's kind of funny to think about. I knew that I was turning 20 and I knew that I was becoming an adult, and so I had to make my own decisions, right? And I had to start thinking about things and having my own stuff, right? I'll get my own house, I'll get my own car and everything like that. And so symbolically to myself, well, the first thing that happened was I saw an advert online, or on television actually, and it was for Diesel Only the Brave. And I thought, that'll show that I'm an adult. that'll get me into adulthood. I'll own my own fragrance, right? I've never bought my own fragrance. That's a big deal. Still up until that point, I hadn't really been making a lot of money. I was still in college, and so I was like, yeah, I'm an adult now. I can own my own fragrance. I can buy my own clothes and all that kind of stuff. So I bought Diesel Only the Brave. This is my third bottle now. And yeah, it's kind of nostalgic. I mean, it's not amazing compared to the things that I've smelt and the fragrances I've experienced. It's been an absolute whirlwind of different types of fragrances, especially when I got into indie, especially when I started buying Slumber House and Imaginary Authors and Rainier perfumes and Zoologist and all of these different things. That's when, of course, it's a completely different ballgame. But I smell this, and it is still powerful, and I still wear it occasionally, actually. But funnily enough, when I first bought this, and I remember it arriving, well, this is well, I might as well just tell you this. So, I bought Diesel Only the Brave blind buy. I didn't even know the term blind buy existed at that point, but I bought it. And I thought, yeah! And I think I bought a 75 milliliter of it. And I suddenly realized, hang on a minute, I don't even know what this smells like. And so I was like, oh, what do I do? And so I just typed in on YouTube, Diesel Only the Brave review. And that's really weird to think about now, actually. That's quite funny to think about. But yes, I found a load of YouTube reviewers, and the big one at the time, the Jeremy fragrance at the time, was a dude called Hiro Yokozuna. And he was deadly, to be completely honest, because I think he did a review either on this or something like this, and I saw he had a top 10 most complimented list, and of course I went straight to it. That's the gateway usually for probably most of you. You find the top 10 list, you find the top 10 complimented list, and just the wonders of fragrance are open to you, and especially the way that Hiro spoke about fragrance was so passionate and so enticing that I just wanted to know more. And I know that for most of you watching, if not all of you watching, that was Jeremy. And so Hiro and people like Rogues08 and all these different people, Dan My Mickers, Fragrance Bros, all of these guys kept talking about something called Creed. And I looked at the prices of Creed and of course freaked out, as any normal human being usually does. And I was like, whoa, I can't, I'm intrigued by this and I'm interested, but I have no money. So then I found out that there were fragrances that smelled like Creed. Clones weren't as huge as they are now. There were just kind of other brands that had fragrances that were similar to Creed. And one of them was Mont Blanc's Individual. I had heard that Mont Blanc Individual was similar to a fragrance called Original Santal by Creed. Now you have to understand that I think Aventus was about 4 or 5 months old when I got into the fragrance industry into this. It wasn't a very old fragrance at the time, it was pretty much brand new. I think at the most it was a year, so Aventus still hadn't caught on. The second and third year of Aventus being released was when it became what it is today. But Creed was still a huge deal. Things like Millésime Impérial, Original Santal, all those things. And so I just wanted a Creed, I just wanted something that smelled like Creed. And I bought this. And I thought, well, this is kind of better, but it's not really my taste. And these two fragrances, this and Diesel and the Brave, still to this day aren't really my taste. I still like them, and I really do enjoy this one a lot night out in summer, but I was like, I'm not really fully sold. And then I heard of this other fragrance that smelled like another Creed, and I blind bought that. And I remember opening the package on the way from college. My mum and dad had picked me up and they gave me this package, and I remember opening the package and, well, this suddenly appeared out of it. This is of course Sean John Unforgivable, and I didn't know what to expect because at that time Creed was just Creed, right? Who cares? It was Creed, it was a big deal and whatever. And I sprayed this on my arm, I took a whiff, and I was like, wow. Now that is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. I remember thinking, I just remember being just shocked at how it just captured me. I can't really explain it. I remember thinking to myself, I need to go to the shop and I need to find out exactly which Creed this is pretending to be, because if this is what this fake or clone or whatever it is, or this inspiration, if that is what this smells like, I can't even begin to imagine what the actual Creed smells like. So I'd say after that there are two main fragrances that really just hooked me in, where I knew that I couldn't really go back. And of course, you know, when I went to the Creed store, I mean, I remember smelling Aventus for the first time and thinking, bloody hell, that really is something. I felt as though that was just, I don't want to say I knew it was going to be a success, it's not like that. I remember just smelling Aventus and thinking, that's exactly what a man should smell like, that's like the definitive male fragrance. But when I smelt this, which I think this bottle is literally empty, that is the first fragrance that hooked me in, where I was like, okay, this is something different, this is something I know you just feel very connected to. And this was the big fragrance where, you know, I kind of decided I really wanted to get into this, where I really loved it because this was just kind of just so evoking and just so cool. That was the big word, really. It was just so fucking cool, this fragrance. I was just like, dude, that's amazing, and I just wanted to wear it all the time, and I just wanted to smell like this all the time because it just smelled freaking cool and interesting and awesome, and that's just what it was. I think that if it had just been Millésime Impérial, I might have just stuck with it and I wouldn't have the collection. There needed to be something else. There needed to be an extra dimension that would make me realise that it isn't just all about this. There's a plethora of different styles, there's a plethora of different genres and different ideas within this whole fragrance world. And I'd say that the fragrance that really made me understand that this was kind of like a gigantic, kind of endless, almost infinite kind of art form that could provoke and could just do all of these wonderful things, was probably Angel Men's Pure Malt. In fact, it was Angel Men's Pure Malt, there's no question. Even now, I don't know, man, I might have to spray this on. I hear that it's been reformulated, but I tested it recently and nothing to worry about. When I first smelled this, it was just wild. It just conjured up this image of like a little Scottish village, or now that I've been there, and I love the place Edinburgh. This reminds me of Edinburgh all the time. I actually did wear this when I went to Edinburgh, but it just had a very homely and warm and inviting and freaking interesting and awesome vibe to it. And the fact that it painted that picture, and I just liked the fact that it was kind of sexy and warm and kind of tasty. I don't know, it presented to me a challenge. It presented to me what fragrance could be about, and I still love this. I still love all, well, I don't know about Diesel and the Brave as much, you know, I'll wear it occasionally, but this, Millésime Impérial, Sean John Unforgivable, you know, these fragrances are the backbone of what got me into this and why I have the YouTube channel and why I am the Fragrance Apprentice. So those are the fragrances that made me, and to just kind of finalize the answer to the question, this was the first fragrance that I ever bought with my own money. And I'm gonna tag two people. The first person I want to tag is Pete from Fragrance View, because I'm just really genuinely intrigued, because his path and my path are very, very different, and what he's done is just so unique, and the way that he thinks about fragrance is very unique to me. Like, it's really just interesting, and the way he communicates about fragrance, the way he reviews fragrance, probably one of the most unique people in the whole reviewing game. And he's like that in real life, you know, when you speak to him, just very interesting. And Manny from Cascade Scents, another unique voice, and he's kind of hinted at why he got into it, but I want to know, because he recently said to me, fragrance is one of the reasons I get out of bed. And so I'm like, no, I've got to know the story behind that. So Pete, Manny, please cut the excuses. I don't want any excuses. I want you to do this video because I want to know, and I know that everybody else would love to know, what was your first fragrance that you bought and how you kind of got into this. Right, thanks. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm the Fragrance Apprentice. Goodbye.